how could I possibly fit a full overview of the Grimoire Encyclopaedia, volumes 1 and 2 by David Rankine into a 2-minute video? Of course, it would be completely impossible. So welcome to my complete review of the Grimoire Encyclopaedia, volumes 1 and 2. Look at the size of these beasts. Volume 1 is over 700 pages, something like 740 pages. Volume 2, which is the appendices, by the way, is 670 pages odd. Absolutely gigantic work. But what's the quality like? Folks, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. There's no question that this is essential work. This is the first and last book you need on grimoires, apart from the grimoires themselves, of course. Let me just open the book up and, well, the first volume up, and you'll see just how meticulous this work is. It's incredible. So I was very, very lucky to get a signed edition, the hardcover edition. Now, this hardcover edition is Smith's sewn. I'll talk a little bit about the form. It is covered in a nice fabric, right, black with this silver stamp on the front. It's the same design on volumes 1 and 2, the same color of the stamp. The only difference is the number of the volume written on the front here. I'll say that there may have been some slight issues with the quality control of the spine there, but it's difficult to make such an enormous book. I think that given the price that these were sold for, this is incredible quality that you're getting. This is, it's unreasonable to expect anything more given how inexpensive these hardcover books were. Nevertheless, I do want to point it out in case you were thinking of getting a second-hand copy for crazy prices, because this will certainly go for crazy prices. I'll say, you know, if you really want the hardcover, then sure. If you want to go with a soft cover, then go with the soft cover. This, you see, it doesn't lie flat. It's kind of awkward, but it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable with something of this size, right? That's the form factor, and the paper is very nice. You know, Hadean Press have done a great job, really, really great job. Given the size of the job, this is completely acceptable and fine. Right, let's talk a little bit about the contents, because that's really what the point is over here. David Rankine gives us in this first book, he gives us an incredible introduction to Solomonic magic, no less. I think Jason Miller recently made a short review where he was saying that it's very short, but everything's there. And that's kind of the value that you're getting here, is that you're getting everything in as small a space as possible. and yes, that is 1,000 and some pages. But in terms of this introduction, it is so succinct and clear and easy to follow. And I think that if I could have read this on day one, when I first discovered that grimoires existed, I would have been in a very good place, in a very, very good place. You see, it goes from what is a grimoire to, in fact, giving you a full invocation system. So yes, the talks about the spirit hierarchies, so it gives you a little bit about the state of mind of the people who were writing these grimoires, right? And not just the state of mind, but their understanding of the cosmology, right? The understanding of how the world works, and the hierarchies of spirits was definitely a thing. And then there's this whole section on the practice of conjuration, and my heart went out to David when he realized that there was a typo in this bold text here where he says this is the only way or the best way. Well, the little or there might be a clue to point out that there should have been a not here. This is not the only way or the best way, and I've added it in pencil there. I hope that David will give his blessing for any of you wishing to do the same. But yes, the intention was to say this is not the only way, but it is a great way. And by that I mean that it's a way that is archetypal throughout the grimoires. Regardless which grimoire you pick up, you're going to find something like what David has given us here. So that's really, really fantastic stuff. And then he starts off with an actual timeline of when these various encyclopedias appear, right? And then he gets started showing us one by one the various grimoires and talking about them, sharing with us which spirits are included, giving us some backgrounds to them. Yes, you saw that it starts with the Bible there, then goes on to the PGM, the Greco-Egyptian Magical Papyri. There's a lot of details for some of them, like the PGM is obviously so influential. Some of them have just got one page, some of them have got several. As you can see, but invariably he'll give you the dates, the languages involved, the influences, the provenance, the manuscripts known, which type of circle is involved, what tools are involved, the list of spirits that can be found within that grimoire, and then a commentary on the actual text itself. Right, there we go. And then some essential reading if you're very interested in that particular grimoire, where you can go to find more information. That's basically what the main body of this text is, just going one by one through the grimoires. You just saw the Arbatel there. Some of them very well known, others much less so. The Antiphona notebook is not one that I knew. And then he goes into the complete list of entities. So you'll find the name of the entity, and then you'll find what type of entity it is, and then there's that abbreviation of the name of the grimoire where it can be found. And you'll remember that those abbreviations can be found right at the very, very beginning. There they are. Now here is my small quibble, and it really is a small quibble because I don't think that anything could really be done about it. There's so many entities here that you'd have to know each one individually. Nevertheless, I think that if there is a possibility to get it fixed in the second edition, then it would be a nice thing. I was looking for ofThe, right? And, well, ofThe should appear around here under IOPH, but no ofThe. And I thought to myself, well, clearly ofThe is going to be in the Grimoire Encyclopaedia. And so I looked under J, and sure enough, ofThe appears over here with an H, right? ofThe, Planetary Intelligence, Jupiter, and here are the 4 grimoires in which it appears. Key of Solomon something, the 3 books of philosophy, I can't remember what PO is, and then the Magus. And then I was looking, further through the book, and I found a grimoire called the Book of Treasure Spirits, or something along those lines. And sure enough, ofThe was there. And so I thought to myself, well, that doesn't appear here. It's definitely not the PO. And so I looked a little bit further, and sure enough, there's another entry for ofThe, right? Just without the H. And sure enough, there's the I version over here. It's still the same archangel. We're still talking about that Jupiterian archangel, and some of the same sources are quoted, but then we have that Book of Treasure Spirits, and sure enough, it's right there. Now, I don't know how feasible this would have been, but what would have been ideal would have been to have ofThe with an I, and then just saying C ofThe with a J, right? Or ofThe with an H, and again saying C ofThe with a J. Rather than listing them all over here. But on the other hand, maybe it's just a question of space, and maybe it would have just been impractical. So I don't know, but it makes it a little bit less usable. But yes, it's a very small quibble. As you can see, there are certainly ways around it, and it doesn't take away any of the value of what's included here, right? It's not like the information is wrong or anything, right? All right, so let's turn towards the end of the book, where we get a very nice glossary, a very useful glossary, and a really nice thick bibliography. Really, really fantastic stuff. There we go. So that's the first volume. That's the main text. And yeah, you can use it for lifting if your gym subscription runs out. So it's actually not as heavy as it looks, but it's still pretty damn heavy. All right, let's have a look at the second volume over here, the supplementary material, the appendices. So once again, signed card which has been affixed. It's a slightly different design from the first volume, which is nice. And let's take a look. It's a really nice long page of acknowledgements, a real who's who of the grimoire world. Yeah, some very, very cool names right there. Here we go. So we get a list of abbreviations. Once again, the same list of abbreviations as in book one, but it's there once again for our convenience, which is really helpful. Then we've got Appendix 1 on the use of the crystals. Then we get incense ingredients, incense and oil recipes, on the use of inks, materia magica, magical rings, on the use of metals, on the use of plants, a spirit contract for Padiel. David explains that actually spirit contracts are really rare in the grimoires, but he did manage to find one for Padiel, which he shares here. Then spirit feasts, the magical circle, timings. Oh my goodness, that chapter on timings is going to be so useful. I'll show you in a moment. Of future times, tools of the trade, and then once again a glossary and a bibliography. Fantastic stuff. So once again, that list of abbreviations. And yes, a lot of this is going to be tables. This is Appendix 2 incense ingredients. So you can get to see any given ingredient for incense, for example, the head of a green frog used in powder form. It's a lunar incense, the influence of the moon. And these are the two grimoires in which you'll be able to see the head of a green frog being used. There we are. Still incense ingredients. What do we have here? Materia magica. So here we've got a shiny basin, which is used in the Roman secret of Sathan conjuration. And again, you get the names of the grimoires where that appears, and you can just refer to that list of abbreviations to know which grimoire is being used right there. Yeah? Most of these appendices do start with a short note, a short word. What are we looking at here? It's still the Materia Magica, so it's a very long chapter. That still Materia Magica, still Materia Magica. Oh my goodness, yes, it's a very, very long one. Magical rings. This is so cool, this chapter on magical rings from various books throughout the ages. It gives you an idea on how they're special and different from the magical rings found in every other grimoire, so that's really nice. On the use of plants, an extensive chapter here on various plants used. If you're into the green path, this is going to be invaluable for you. What else do we have? Oh yeah, really, really nice, comprehensive chapter on the magical circles. And then, yes, what's got to be my favorite chapter is this one on timings, which gives you a rundown on all of the possible magical timings from various sources. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve, there's a best time of the day and a best time of the week to perform it. And it doesn't just give you the basics, which we all probably know by now, but it goes so deep into some very obscure materials from various grimoires. There we go. So lots and lots of very, very cool stuff. This replaces so much for me. This is central. This is a pair of books which magicians all around the world are going to own. I mean, there's no question this is one of the most important works that has come out of the grimoire tradition over the past many, many years now. Incredible stuff. Oh, by the way, David Rankine included Jake Stratton Kent's The Sworn and Secret Grimoire, which I thought was beautiful. It's actually got a full entry on that in volume 1, which is so cool. Yeah, I love this. Well done, David. This is beautiful, incredible work. And yeah, definitely worth your time and money, whether you're lucky like me and manage to get a hardcover edition, or you decide to go with a paperback edition, which of course you can just simply cover with a plastic sheeting or whatever. But yes, one way or another, get your hands on a copy of this double volume. It's important work. There we go. I hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care.